Welcome to the Tunepact podcast. I'm your host, the punk rock pop, Lee Pierce. And today we're going to be talking about producing and marketing music not in your native language. And we've got the best guests today for this topic. We got Kevy from the Apers and Insanity Alert. Kev, why don't you do us a favor and tell everybody a bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Kevy. Yes, I play in bands, Insanity Alert being one. Apers being one that I've been doing since 27, 28 years. I have a side project called Sweatpants Party, which some of the people called already the new Apers. I run a small record label and I like to drink beer and do other stuff that I cannot say on the show.
You forgot skateboarding. You forgot to say skateboarding. Come on.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Yeah, I really love it. And as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go outside. It's a beautiful sunny day in Austria, and it's dry, it's springtime, and just put my soft wheels on the board and I'm gonna cruise through the city.
Oh, I'm gonna start right off. I got a bone to pick with you. Life is not too short for longboards, like your song says. My knees are just too bad for cruisers, man. They gotta hang on the wall now. I can't do it.
Yeah. Once I reach that point, I might change the lyrics, but that's in my defense. That song is 10 years old. So.
Wow. All right. So like I said, the topic today is producing and marketing music not in your native language. And why don't you, to give everybody a good idea here, tell a little bit more about your background, where you're from, where you're at now, so let everybody understand why I'm talking to you today.
I was born in the Netherlands, in a small town close to Rotterdam, that's in the west. I lived there for 30 plus years, and then 16 years ago, I decided to change the scenery, get a fresh wind through the whole system, and throw my shit in my little Volkswagen and drive to Austria, where I've now been living in the mountains since 2009. So yeah, that's a German-speaking country. The Dutch language is quite interesting because it's sort of like a mix of English and German. So we'll never get really good at both, but we manage to understand both.
Yeah, so you in Netherlands, you guys are raised real young, start learning the English language, like not like we do over here. Like it's insane how fluent you are, especially in your music. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So when it comes to, especially being a crossover thrash band and a punk artist too, you've got a lot of those rhyming verses with the chant-along lyrics. So you've really got to have the language down, especially when it comes to the creative process part of it. Have you had any issues with that, even with how long you've been speaking English? Have you had any issues with the creative process when it comes to that part of it?
Yeah, little issues in the beginning, of course. As you mentioned, it is not our native language, so we don't use it on a daily basis. However, from the age 10, 11 in the Netherlands at my time when I was a kid, I don't know what it's like today, probably even younger. We learn it, and the issues for us were that we learned British English in school at first. So we would say, we had to say the weather. They really made us pronounce like that. But yeah, at this time, we're getting into music. So we're listening to punk records. We're listening to Nirvana. We're listening to, I was a big Guns N' Roses and Mr. Big fan. And those guys didn't pronounce the words like the Beatles would. So for us, it was a shocker. And then combined with the TV shows at the time, we're watching Melrose Place and Friends, and we watched Happy Days and Wonder Years and all that stuff. And yeah, so that's how we picked up our slang. That's how we knew how to say sweet and dude, stuff that they wouldn't use in the UK. So, but the issues were there. In the beginning, it was tricky because we would use wrong phrases or phrases that were outdated. But yeah, you learn quick enough, though.
Well, I never thought about that. How much? Yeah, because you're not learning any slang. You're not learning American. You're learning English, and it is a completely different language. It really is. I never thought about how beneficial stuff like the TV shows and stuff like that is. And I mean, that's pretty cool. I can just see it like I learned all my English from Pauly Shore.
If you were yogurt. Oh man, that's good.
So,
Marie Nicotine and myself, we loved Pauly Shore when we started the Apers, like Biodome and stuff like that. There was such a huge influence on us. Really? Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I've got an Encino Man and a Biodome poster right over here in my studio. Actually, my buddy's band played in the movie Biodome. Wax?
Really?
They were the band that played in the party in the Biodome, actually.
It's so good. That's so good.
All right. So, because we were talking and you said that, in Austria, your bandmates, they learn English as well as a second language, not quite as fluent, not as fluent as you, but still way more than we see a second language over in our country, that's for sure. What struggles have you seen them deal with, especially because none of you actually speak the same language. You're all kind of learning each other's. So what issues have you had with that, trying to help each other out when it comes to producing?
Yeah, it comes to small things, like sometimes with lyrics, how do you get shit done? But also with the side things like contracts or how to write an email to an English promoter, and what are the exact questions? How do you ask for what fee you get? What time you have to be there? And it's all this, like, how do you get it as fluent that we're not talking about the language anymore, but we're talking about the real topic here, the band coming to play or the band recording some songs. So I think that's more like the stuff because today with Google, with the internet, with ChatGPT, you can basically get everything written in a perfect way. So the grammatics are not that difficult anymore. But I think for them that sometimes is an issue too, like it still is for me, of course. Like sometimes there's just something that doesn't really make sense. But most of the time you get the bigger picture.
Yeah, and that's how I didn't even think about. I don't even think I had it down as a question. I never thought about the booking because, like, over there, it's like states are here. You can drive through 3 countries in an afternoon or a day. Same as over here with states. So you guys are playing in countries. Not only do they not speak your language or the band's language, they might not even speak English either. So how has that been, trying to not even worry about the promotion marketing side, just like booking and working with booking agents and venues and other bands? What's that like, and what ups and downs have you had?
Yeah, first of all, it's beautiful. I think it's in Europe. You get used to it at a very young age, like you said. It's all not that far away. So when I was a kid, my parents would take us to Germany or France every summer, and you would end up on a camping site with a lot of kids that have no idea what you're saying. But eventually, you will make it work, and that is a thing in Europe that for me it's great. And yeah, sometimes it's super funny. You like. It is a lot better than it was about 20, 30 years ago when Apers started, because then we would come to towns in Italy or Spain, and there would, in a group of 10 people, there would be one person that knew a little bit of English. But yeah, everyone knows what they're doing. You're there to play a show. So you know that there's going to be a sound check. You know that there's going to be some food. You know that there's going to be the doors opening. So I think that also helps you in understanding those languages a little bit faster, because if they say okay fermato, it's going to be closed, because they're going to say it at the end when they turn the lights on. So and there's a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, with the English, it was always interesting because every country, of course, had its own level of English and then had their own accent. In Europe, everyone, even if I speak English, everyone will know that I'm from Holland. And that goes to all the countries: French, Germany, Spain. I can tell you exactly straight away. I guess some countries, like for example Israel, it's difficult because we don't see too many people from Israel, and they sound a bit Mediterranean, so they could be from Greece, they could be from Italy. But if an Italian speaks English, I can tell you straight up 100%, okay, that guy's from Italy.
Well, that's the same here with different accents in the different states, from southern to northern. You can tell, like, oh, you're from Tennessee, or oh, you're from, well, Wisconsin. You know, the Midwest accent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that completely.
Hey, you guys can tell that I have absolutely no idea. I think I could just figure out Texas and New York. For the rest, it sounds all the same to me. No offense.
Oh no, that's fine. But so well, with when it comes to, well, you brought up talking to whether it's sending emails off to you know, venues, or trying to call venues. What about when it comes into like producing? I don't know. I don't know if you self-produce or if you work with someone. But when you have to work with someone, especially as if English isn't their native language as well, is there any issues when it comes to producing the music?
So you mean producing in the studio?
Yeah, the recording part of it, not the creating.
Yeah, it's actually I have to think about it, because with Insanity Alert we have recorded only with German-speaking people. Oh no, that's not true. No, that's not true. The first record was recorded in Italy, but that all went super smooth. Actually, he spoke very good English, and yeah, eventually, like, this is the same thing. You know, we know what we're doing, we know what we want, and sometimes, of course, it's a bit hard. But even if it was in Dutch, so that's my native language in which I am still relatively fluent, I would sometimes you cannot describe exactly what you mean when you're recording. You're gonna be like, yeah, this something is missing in this vocal part. So I think we sort of skip the English there, even though it's in English, but it's like you go over it because you don't know how to say it anyway. But yeah, it's stuff like treble and bass, or put it down a little bit. I mean, that's really not that hard, actually.
Yeah, see, I get that. I know what you're talking about. So like back like over 30 years ago, we had a foreign exchange student from France come stay with my family for our senior year, and I went over there and visited him about over 20 years ago, almost 25 years ago probably, and his parents, no one else in his family spoke like any English at all. But I was able to communicate with them, and I don't speak any French. And I was able to communicate with them if it was something that we were going to do, because between pantomiming and people, just when you do things on a daily basis, you know, so you can't communicate that way. So you're talking about that's what you're able to do, whether it's the venue or in the studio or what, but because they know their job, you know your job, and you've worked with people and they've worked with people, so you can still do that. So yeah, it's kind of fun to watch it happen too. It's like you don't even need to speak sometimes. You can get that information out.
Yep, it's really true. And over the years, I made a lot of good friends in different parts of the world that maybe are not that fluent. So if it comes down to a real conversation, like a night, you know, we're sitting down, we're having some cheese fondue and a bottle of wine, and then we talk. I mean, that's gonna be tough sometimes. But yeah, then again, if the wine is good, eventually all will go. But I just in November I visited Japan, and Japan, a lot of people there, really, the English is really from a different level, and that's not in a positive way to say that. So, but these guys are so good, and we're there to play with our bands and to go to shows and to have a good time, you know, drink beer and party. So it goes automatically. Sometimes it's a bit shit, you know, you want to say something, you go like, wish I could, you know, like elaborate on this topic, but then it's a bit hard. But if it's real, then it's real anyway.
So now what we talked about, because like I knew you weren't American, obviously, when I first heard you guys, and it was right after the second album came out, so it's been a while. Was that Moshburger?
Yeah, Moshburger, yeah.
Moshburger. I think it was right after Moshburger came out. So I've been listening to you for a while. There wasn't a whole lot of information out there about you guys at the time, so I didn't know where you guys are from. But I was blown away because, especially crossover thrash, or if you want to even call it, I hate calling it because it's like a niche genre, but pizza thrash, it popularly called too, which I like that, because when I hear a band's thrash metal band calls themselves pizza thrash, I know it's going to be fun. They're not taking themselves too seriously. I know they're old skaters probably, because they're doing a throwback to the stuff we grew up with, like DRI and stuff like that. So I love that term, pizza thrash. So when it comes to stuff like that, you've got a pretty, very specific demographic for that, because there's not a whole lot of people that, at least that I've seen, metalheads that, they like the heavy, serious thrash metal stuff, and they like the lighter stuff like the crossover thrash or pizza thrash. So I see that a lot. So you've got a pretty, very specific demographic. And when it comes to marketing that, I mean, I see your stuff on Facebook and stuff. It's like I said, if someone didn't know better, I mean, obviously you hear the accent in the music, but they wouldn't know. They think you had somebody from the U.S. or something like that running your social media for you. You'll have your stuff in native language and stuff too, but like it's so dead on, and your target audience, because the people that like your music, they're like you. So you've got like, well, if I like it, they're probably going to as well, which is always a plus when it comes to marketing. But and like I said, so it's a very specific demographic, and that demographic is going to be all over the world. So what issues have you had trying to find your target audience outside of, you do the festivals, you do your shows and stuff like that, and putting stuff up on social media?
Yeah, I wouldn't really call it issues, because we started out as in the true pizza trash spirit, with absolutely no expectations or intentions at all. We started because we were hanging out at the same bar here in Innsbruck in Austria. We were friends. Some of them were super into death metal. I was into punk and hardcore. We went to the same shows, and eventually after a while partying, we wrote some weird lyrics. Said, let's start a band. The first 4 years, we figured, like, I was already 30 plus at this point. So I figured that, this is just going to be fun. Thursday night at the rehearsal room, bring a crate of beer. But then the show started coming. Then we got requests from this one, because it's a very small metal subgenre, but it's really loyal, and it's everywhere, like you said, all over the world. And the people that are involved in this are always they have a lot of passion behind it. There's a lot of heart in it. So whether we go to Italy, to Portugal, to Japan, we have those same thrashing, raging people waiting for us everywhere, which also ignites places where we play where most people might not be into it. But if we play a festival and we have 50 weirdos completely going insane in the front row, people in the back are like, hey, what's going on? They want to join in because it's a party. But yeah, as for marketing issues, what we were rejected by a few labels because of the fact that we were from Austria. They actually told us straight up, if you guys would have been from California or from Texas or from Richmond, we could have worked with this, but we cannot sell a band that is from Austria, Tyrol. That's when we came up with the skiing DRI logo. We just put the DRI and put skis on it. And then we said, let's market this. But yeah,
I've got that sticker on my guitar case right over here. I'm looking at it, actually.
Okay.
The Alpine Thrash sticker.
Alpine Thrash. But you know what it is, Lee? It's if the expectations are low, you can only be amazed the whole time. And we take it really one day, one record, one show at a time, and we're super happy for what we have accomplished and what people have allowed us to accomplish. And yeah, as for the rest, we try to put out good music, and like you said, if we like it, most of the time the people that are into this stuff will like it too. So that makes it a lot easier. So we just do what we think is cool. We write about our favorite movies, about skateboarding, about idiots in the street. And yeah, we go to a show, we party, we try to be nice to the people that organize it. And that's basically all we can do. It's all I want to do, actually.
Well, and the nice thing too, crossover thrash, especially the fun, goofy stuff like the pizza thrash stuff, the genre, I mean, it's a cross between thrash metal and punk. And as far as fan bases go, those are about two of the most loyal fan bases for music genres. I mean, because they all of those, every fan I know that likes metal or punk go to basement shows. They go to see these no-name guys. You know, like I've still got a box of cassette tapes someplace that were recorded in people's garages. You know, the stuff I bought and listened to. So you've got like the best of both worlds when it comes to just how rabid and how like loving and supportive that fan base is. Because those are the guys that like, hey, here, take a listen to this. You haven't heard these guys. Or those are the ones that'll, you know, put your flyers up when they see them. They'll share your stuff on social media. So do you see a lot of that crossover from your fan bases from like other countries? Like when you're setting up doing because you do a lot of festivals and stuff like that too. When you're setting up to a festival in another country, do you see any like the local scene kind of coming out of the woodwork to support you that you weren't expecting?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that really goes up to the biggest festivals. Like, there's this festival called Hellfest. Not sure if you're familiar with it. It's probably the biggest metal festival in Europe. And the years before that, we played there twice. First time was in 2017, but we started touring in France in about 2013 to 14. And we really worked our ass off. We played all over the country. We drove like 1,500 kilometers sometimes on a day. But we always played these clubs. We play with local bands. We play with the skate punk band from that town. We play with the crossover band from that town. But Hellfest is so well connected that once we make it to the big stages of the Hellfest, all these dudes are either working at the stage crew or working at the catering or are the runners for the backstage. So we came there as absolute no-name band. We were lucky that they put us up on that stage. But everyone was so supportive and they gave us a good spot. They helped us with the amplifiers. Eventually, thanks to those people, we are able to put off a show that catapults us into this whole French scene even bigger. And that is something that you work for. And that's so much credit for that scene. And for what I've been doing since I was 15, you know, and it's still great. It's real.
Yeah, that's awesome too, because that's the stuff, it's an organic fan base. You know what I mean? You get on this festival and you're like, I don't even know how I'm here. So it's not like you're promoting in that area and then all this comes out, all this support comes out. It's awesome because like you guys deserve it. You're hard working. You put out just awesome music all the time, consistently. So getting that feedback and that support is just awesome. Like I said, it's well deserved. And that's just something a lot of people don't think about. I know I didn't think about that, you know, because the whole festival scene is something I've never done much of. So I always wondered how that was going into, like, I mean, around here, it's no big deal in this country, but for you guys, yeah, I mean, how many different countries have you played festivals in now, if you can think offhand?
Yeah, I would say about 10, 12,
Jeez.
I don't know. Like, you can do like, but yeah, it's really like for you guys, it's like if you go to England, Holland, Belgium, France, Spain, Portugal, Austria, Swiss, Liechtenstein, Italy, Denmark, Japan. So yeah, over 12, 13, I think. Czech Republic, Slovenia, I'm forgetting. So they're everywhere, man. But that's like,
that's just awesome. Cause yeah, that's just cool. I can't imagine getting to travel that much.
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, we had the US. We had it booked, but then came COVID. Same story that's very similar to a lot of people and with ideas and plans. But yeah, that sort of fucked it up. Then we couldn't make it because of the work permits. Everything got a little bit tighter now in the world for traveling. But yeah, US would still be, it's still very high on our wish list.
Mine too. Oh, excuse. So have you noticed, because I mean, like really there's almost, it's not really marketing anymore. It's digital marketing. And I mean, social, and it's social media basically, you know, other than, I mean, that's all marketing. I mean, most bands don't even have websites anymore, you know? No. So when it comes to the different social media platforms, have you found one to be more user-friendly for artists that are producing and recording and promoting in a language other than their own?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say basically the only one that we really use is Instagram. That is connect everything that we post there goes automatically to Facebook, I think. But they're both easy to understand. But Instagram is probably the thing that for our generation we use the most. It's the quickest, it's the easiest. You know, you don't have to hashtagging and movie making is all quite fairly easy. I'm gonna be super honest here. I don't really do it that much. It's our drummer, Mr. Don Melanzani. He is a social media giant, and he really puts a lot of effort and time in it too. And I'm not sure if he likes it, but he knows that it's very important for the band, especially when we tour and stuff. And yeah, we use whatever we tried. What's the name of the thing? TikTok. But that was so annoying, and I just ended up putting glittery filters everywhere, and it looked stupid. So, it was funny, but it was just kind of like a moron. But and as for the rest, we don't really use it that much. We still have a website, but I think the website just mirrors our TikTok and Instagram stuff that we post. And as for the rest, yeah. What else is there? MySpace is gone, man.
Unfortunately, I still miss
the
it. I gotta
days.
say, I remember Friendster. I'm old. I remember Friendster still.
ICQ.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I didn't know Don was the one that ran the social media. Yeah, he's got a really good eye, and he know for when he's posting stuff, what he's posting.
Nice.
It's always high quality, really good content. Like, yeah, it's like I said, if someone didn't listen to the music and hear the accent and was just going off of the social media, they'd think you guys were from California or New York. They wouldn't have any clue at all. He's really good about it and bridging that gap.
Yeah, that is fantastic, and but like I said, he really puts a lot of time in it, and he really like almost studied it, like what is the time to post and what does it look like, and we have two graphic designers in the band, so he's always asking like, yeah, come on, give me some new stuff, can make a flyer for this, and yeah, it's worth it, I think. It sucks to do it. I mean, it would be more. We would have more time for fun stuff if we wouldn't have it, but it also allows us to do stuff. You know, it also brings people to shows. So.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, and that's why I do what I do. That's why we have the podcast is to try. I want artists to realize that marketing doesn't have to be a dirty word. You know, you can have fun with it, and especially, I mean, and your marketing's got to fit your band's vibe too. You know, I mean, if some serious, something type musician put out the stuff you guys did on social media, they'd be like, "What is going on?" Or if you guys started posting some like serious type stuff, I'd be like, that's not right. I mean, and being the fun band you guys are allows you the opportunity to post fun stuff. You guys can post just silly memes if you want, even if it's not even related because it fits your brand. You guys are fun. Good. You're the party on stage. When I put the music on, I got to turn you guys up a little bit louder. So you guys get to do that fun part of the marketing, which is always the best part. And that's when marketing isn't as bad, when you can make it fun. And I want artists to know, like, it's not a dirty word. If you take the time, I think I talk about this in probably every episode, but it's kind of the point of the podcast is like, take the time and plan out your marketing when you're recording the album, when you're writing the album. Jot down notes and be like, you know what, that one line from that song, we could come up with something really funny to post while we're trying to promote this. And you start working that into it. It can be as much of a art form as the music you're making as well. And I love seeing bands that are able to do that and bridge that gap. And you guys are just excellent at that.
Thanks.
All right. We've talked specific marketing enough. So I got some more questions. I didn't even follow my script today. That gets boring. So what are some nightmares you've had to deal with because of language barriers when I'm guessing more on tour, because that's when it's really going to be a problem, because you don't have the comfort of your own home to go back to after the gig. So what's some fun nightmares? Well, probably not fun for you, but fun for the audience to hear about. What's some issues you've ever had to deal with?
Language-wise, it's tricky, but yeah, we had it was not really on tour, but we got sponsored. Our guitar players are endorsed by ESP Guitars, and then we met them, and a week later they asked us for photos, but they had to be landscape. But we didn't know what landscape was. Yeah, I wasn't there, but the other guys so didn't know what landscape was, so they figured they should go outside. So they would stand in front of the mountain. Yeah. So they took a lot of pictures in the mountains, in the forest, and yeah, that was a pretty funny one. For me, that was pretty funny. Yeah, and as for the rest, like the British English is really hard to understand sometimes. So last November we played at the Damnation Festival in Manchester, and they're gonna be like, oh, "Come on, mates, come on, go back to the States right now." You're like, "What?" And you were like, "What?" Really, absolutely no clue. And then in the hotel with the checking in, and at the airport, it's really like this Geordie English or whatever they speak, Scouse or what they call it. Yeah, and then you have your normal one. Sometimes you also get a bit like almost like European racism, we call it. So I fly to Portugal. Portugal is a small country. Most of the time when I go to Spain, the people there do not speak English that well. But Portugal is, of course, a completely different country. It's next to it, looks exactly like it for me, from my point of view. So I go like, "Yeah, I'm sorry about this." And this guy's like in fluent English, like he way better than me. He's like, yeah, well, this is not Spain, man, this is Portugal. I'm like, "Oh, fuck." Yeah, he's right. But yeah, he put me in my place. So. But yeah, now as for the rest, we play so many shows in France and Germany, so Czech Republic, that it doesn't really matter, like we talked about in the beginning of this interview. You get together somehow or another. The Czech language is so difficult, and I have absolutely no talent for it, no skills at all. I don't remember it, like even I think I remember more Japanese words than I did in the Czech Republic. But yeah, I come out alive and I get drunk every time, so something works. I don't end up in the hospital. I play the show, so eventually we all get it done.
I just can't imagine speaking as many languages as you do. I only speak one, and I'm not even good at this one. It amazes me. God, the U.S. education system sucks.
That's a different approach, I think. But you have to understand, Lee, that if you are from the Netherlands, no one on this whole planet will understand you. There's just a small group of people in Belgium. There may be some third generation people from, what are the states? New York State or something, or Ohio, where there's still some Dutch remains. And then you can basically go to South Africa, where they speak some sort of completely different language nowadays called Afrikaan, which has a lot of Dutch words in it. But so in order to give the kids in Holland a chance in the world, we're squeezed in between England, France, and Germany. So yeah, that's the first three languages we have to learn. No one learns them fluent.
Well, and then in parts of Belgium, what do they? There's a specific dialect, Flemish.
Yeah.
What is
Flemish,
it? Flemish?
Yeah.
So when I was over in France, we went France, Belgium, England in the a couple days time, and we got to an area in Belgium, and my buddy's trying to explain. He goes, "It's like a cross between the languages," and I learned enough little bits so I could communicate with if I was shopping and stuff like that. That threw me so far. I was like, "What is going on?" I was not expecting that one little area to have their own dialect like that, and it threw me so hard. I couldn't imagine you guys traveling over there. Like over here, I'm like, it's nothing. I mean, because we'll drive, Over here, it's like we don't go by miles or kilometers. It's like, how many hours is that? Oh, it's only a 12-hour drive. Let's go. We don't need to fly,
It's brutal. Yeah, it's completely. I toured the States a few times, but it's completely different. I made mistakes there, thinking that Texas was about the size of France, that we could do this drive in 6 hours, and then it was like 12, 14 hours in the car. It was so big. But yeah, imagine living in Belgium where they actually not only speak French, but Dutch and also German. So some of these people live in the same country, but have no idea what the other person's saying.
Yup.
Or
And then
maybe
they
it's
got the
with you with
Flemish.
Spanish.
Yeah, then they got the combination of the two that neither of the other ones understand either.
It's a special. It's an interesting part of the world. But
Yeah, it's cool. It's so awesome over there. I someday I'll have to get back there again. I loved it. All right. So, what do you got for what's some last advice you've got for artists that are like what we're talking about, that are producing and trying to market music not in their native language? What's some last advice you got for anybody?
I would say just watch a lot of movies and series, man. That is what really helped me, and that is what still helps me with writing songs. Like I just finished watching Last of Us, and there's so many weird conversations in that are completely outside what you can learn in books and in English class. So yeah, watch YouTube. I mean, English is the way of the music here in Europe too. Every country has their own bands and stars singing in the native language, but overall, like ABBA, like the Beatles, like Turbo Negro, these are all bands that, like the Hives. Rammstein is probably one of the few examples of a band that stayed in their own language in Europe and actually made it somewhere, made it pretty big. But Volbeat, just think of all the Euro bands, and they will sing in English, because it also makes it. It's not only just for America or for England, but it's also if you would sing in Dutch you would have no chance in Italy or in Spain. Vice versa. Maybe a little bit more Spanish music is popular, but so yeah, for us there was really no choice. There was a lot of Dutch punk bands when I was growing up. But yeah, there was only like the squatting Amsterdam scene. They were against the Queen. They were against the government. But yeah, they were never going to play in Barcelona or in Rome or in Berlin. And I did. And I'm still doing it. So.
Well, that's awesome. So we're about to wrap up here. I always like to give my guests a few minutes to promote anything they got coming up. So what do you got coming up here this summer?
Well, I got a lot of festivals with Insanity Alert. We're still promoting our new EP, Moshimi and Threshity, which came out earlier this year.
Great EP
so
too,
much.
by the way.
Thanks so much. Yeah, that really asked a lot of my English knowledge to do that, because I sort of rewrote the lyrics on that one. And sometimes I was because first I was trying to keep it really close to the originals, but then I figured maybe I should try to tell my own story in this one. And I think for me, it came out super well. I'm really happy with the way the lyrics turned out, and the music, of course. But yeah, that was not an easy one. What else am I doing? Playing solo shows, Heavy Kevy, acoustic. I just released a EP, a 6-song EP, also a song about MySpace, so maybe that's something for you. And yeah, well, I'm still playing shows. I'm hoping to get more shows with the acoustic thing, because I really like doing it. It's an easy way to travel. I get to party with my guitar. The next day I get to do sightseeing and skating and drinking local favorites. I have a band called Sweatpants Party. We have just recorded a new Italian-themed EP where we sing in English, but we make a lot of references to the beautiful country that is Italy. And yeah, what else am I doing? Well, yeah, just for you, Lee, I'm going to skate. I'm going to learn some more stuff this year before I turn 50 in a few. And yeah, record a new Insanity album would be great, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that would be. I know I'm waiting for it. The EP is awesome, though. I listened to that one quite a bit.
Thanks so much, man.
All right. Well, Heavy Kevy, thanks for coming on. We got our wires crossed. This is my first international guest, so we got our wires crossed a few times. This is like the third time's a charm. So
we made it, man. I apologize.
I apologize. That's on me too. All right. Well, hey, man, thanks so much for coming on. I've been a fan for a while, so this is pretty cool having you on. Every once in a while, I kind of get to just do one for me. So thanks for coming
Thanks so much for having me.
Yup. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.